College. I was 22 years old, and John was at Officer Candidate School in the fall, and then he was sent to Baltimore to Edgewood Arsenal to chemical warfare. And when he got through there, he would be assigned somewhere. So I stayed at the college, of course. Started in the fall, and then about in February, he was assigned to Fresno, California. And he was in the Air Force, an administrative officer in the Air Force. And he called me on Sunday and he said, I just wish you could come out here. And I said, well, I'm coming, I'll just come. So I called the head of the music department at Columbia College, and he met me downtown at the First Presbyterian Church, and we sat down, and I said, John's in California and he wants me to come and I want to go. And he said, Annie Martha, you're the last person that I thought would do this to us. And I said, I'm sorry, I've got to go. Well, his wife got a hold of him and she straightened him out, and he apologized for that. But anyway, he called me on Sunday and told me to come, and I was gone on Wednesday. I called my sister and I said, come please and clear the apartment house department out that we had. She did all of that, and I left on the train on Wednesday, and I spent one night on the train. And then in Chicago we changed, and there were a lot of Army wives and Air Force wives on the train, and they had a special car for us, which they put at the end of the train, and we had recliners. That was before we had them in the living rooms, but they had reclining chairs, so they put all the Army wives in that one car, and we could put on our pajamas that night in our bathrobes, and then dress in the morning. It was wonderful. We had a good time. And then, so John didn't know when I was going to get there. So everywhere we went, I stopped it. I ran in and got a telegram off. Had no idea. You know, he could have been shipped out before I went up there, really. But finally got to Fresno on Sunday afternoon, and of course everybody on the train with us knew our stories and stuff like that. I was way back in the line to get off the train, but everybody, the waters parted. And I was the first one off the train, and there was John waiting for me. And it was wonderful. We stayed out there 2.5 years. So that's the story of that. I cannot remember when I could not read or play the piano. My mother had a little organ, which my father bought for her when they moved into the big house I told you about. And Mama held me in her lap and showed me the notes. And so I only went to a teacher when I was in the 4th grade. But I already knew all the notes and stuff like that. So, and I have an idea that Mom was teaching me to play hymns. That's what I think, because that's what she was doing. She'd had a singing teacher too. She knew all the do, re, fa. I didn't know any of that. I never had that. But Mama was knowledgeable about that. I studied with the same teacher all the way through elementary school and high school. And my senior year in high school, her husband was the superintendent of the school, so they moved. And Mama was really concerned about me because I would be going off to college, we hoped, and we could get it all together. And I would have to change teachers my last year in high school. So that particular teacher came out to see Mama. I was 14 years old. And she said, we'd like to have her come and live with us, and I will teach her, and it will cost you nothing. So Mama let me go. I wouldn't have done that with my child, but Mama did. And so I didn't change teachers. And then I went up to Converse and played see if I could get a scholarship there. My brother was almost married to a Converse graduate, and he said, study some theory my last year in high school. And then we thought about Columbia College, and fortunately, my brother was a minister, and since he was the main person who was helping the seminary school, he got a discount because he was a preacher. And I ended up at Columbia College and absolutely ended up with the best piano teacher in South Carolina, no doubt in my mind. I knew something about the teachers at Converse, but there was nobody who touched her, and I stayed with her the rest of my life. I continued to have lessons with her even when I was here. Her sister lived with her in Camden at a retirement village, and I called Miss Richards one day to ask her about a turn or something that I was one of the embellishments, and we had quite a conversation on the telephone about it. She had her music, I had my music. We talking. Her sister said the next time we saw, I never heard of anybody having a music lesson on the telephone.